Well, greetings, everyone, and welcome to a very special online event today. It's called Messages from Angels and the Afterlife. Unveil the secrets to receiving accurate guidance and trusting messages from Spirit. My name is Stephen Dynam, the founder and president of the Shift Network, and I'm delighted to be with you here, getting to explore the frontiers of communicating with angelic guides and others on the other side with one of our preeminent teachers in this domain. Her name is Sunny Dawn Johnston. She's a spiritual teacher, author, psychic medium, community builder, legacy leader, lots of titles. The thing that most impressed me was that she's helped us solve unsolved cases, like I forget how many, 60 or 70 of them, because she's so good at getting information from the other side that it can actually lead to real world discoveries and closing of cases, which is a remarkable testament to the accuracy of the information. So I think we're in for a real treat today. And if you are excited to go further, we're going to have a brand new program with Sunny Dawn called Angels and the Afterlife. Connect with angels, spirit guides, and loved ones across the veil for comfort, healing, and guidance. And we'll share more about that towards the end of the hour. So, Sunny, thank you so much for joining us here today.
Thank you. I'm so happy to be here and excited to share.
All right, well, let's do it. And I think your life story is a pretty remarkable place to start, since obviously we were just joking in the green room that you actually Sunny Dawn couldn't have been a more perfect name for you to even come in with, which is your biological or name. And so you really started this journey into working with angels and other entities on the other side from a very young age. So let's hear about that.
Sure. Yeah. I did start at a very young age. And, I was 13 when I opened the door to the connection with the angels and guides and loved ones. And the thing that was interesting is that I didn't actually open the door. The door was open and I walked through it. And I think that's a lot of times what happens for people when they're stepping into this realm as they start having experiences or they have a loss or a transition or they go through a major life change. And for me, it was a typical day, no different than any other day, but I was 13 years old and I went to bed one night and I woke up and I saw my guardian angel. And my guardian angel's presence was phenomenal. It was this energy of unconditional love that I hadn't experienced. I didn't even know what to call it or what to name it. But after that experience, really what happened for me, Stephen, was it set me on a journey of curiosity. I was like, I've got to learn more about this. And I became a sponge. At 13 years old, I started asking these questions and I started going to the library and doing research and trying to learn as much as I could learn. And what I discovered is I couldn't learn it at the library. There wasn't any information at the library, but I instead just started asking. I started asking the energy of that presence. I didn't even really know what to call it at the time. And they started answering back. And that was the beginning of this journey that has, over 40 years being on this journey that has led to this connection to angels and guides and our loved ones in spirit. And I think called me into wanting to help people feel that connection and trust their own guidance. Of course, I can do mediumship and work on cases and all those kinds of things, which is awesome. But I want people to know that they can do it too. And I want to help them. And that's really been my mission for the last 25 years.
Hmm. Well, it's an amazing journey you've been on, and I first want to kind of ask a little bit about angels themselves, and maybe I think we all have like certain projections or images, and sometimes informed by storybooks and fantasies. But what, maybe from your perspective, with a lot of experience and dialogue and connection, what are angels, and what's the nature of their relationship with humans?
When I first had the experience with Guardian Angel, they came to me exactly the way that we see them in images and pictures and statues. And I think that was because I was 13. It was to feel safe, to not scare me. And so it was something that I was familiar with on some level. But as I've grown and as I've evolved, I've really come to understand that the angelic realm is really just this high frequency vibration of what I would say is most loving energy you can imagine, and a never ending loving energy. And so this unconditional love, the way that I experience it now is light. and oftentimes with different angelic vibrations, frequencies. We have names that we call them here on the human realm. They come in different colored light, and that's the way that I feel them. So some people will see them in orbs and energies, with form or without form. So I always like to say they come to you in the way that you believe them to be. That's how it starts. And then it expands as we expand our knowledge and our wisdom and our understanding of them. And so many people don't ever see them, they just feel them.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's learning how to experience that discernment. And discernment, and I'm sure you know this, Stephen, it's the hardest thing to teach, because everybody's discernment is a little bit different based on their experience and their frame of reference.
Mm-hmm. One of the things that I've kind of come to think of angels as is sort of like the intermediaries in a frequency patterns between us and God or creator, because like the creator is so vast, and then you need to have this kind of intermediary bridging function between us and creator that sort of makes it personalizes in a way the sort of the vastness of the universe. Is that resonant?
And that frequency, I think, that's the way that I've come to understand it, is that our energy is more dense because we have these physical bodies. So we're this light energy, but in this physical body. And when we want to connect with our loved ones in the spirit world, our guides or our angels being that highest frequency next to God, creator, we want to raise our vibration, and the angelic realm feels safe for most people, where not everybody believes they can go straight to God, straight to the creator. They're like, oh, I'm not sure about that. But angels, they're safe and they're warm and they're comforting, and their energy is that pure energy that I think we all desire.
One of the things I sort of harbor a little bit still, I would say, is like don't want to kind of like escalate an issue or a challenge to the sort of the higher levels unless necessary. And so I wonder if is there something about like what types of questions, concerns, other things you can bring to angels? Is it sort of like you kind of work with your spirit guides first and you escalate if you need like another level of intervention, or just any reflections on that?
I think that's a great question, and one that I actually get a lot is, how do I know who to go to for what? And the way that I usually answer that is, I think we're guided to the right frequency at the right time. And a lot of times it really depends on the circumstance and the way it feels to us. So for example, I think from your question is like, hey, I don't want to bother the big guy when maybe there's other things that need attention. And one of the things that I love that the angels taught me when I was really young was they don't have a body, and so they can be like, it was Archangel Michael that I was working with at the time, and learning about how to hold my energy and maintain my energy, and I'm like, well, I don't want to take away from anybody else that's trying to connect with that energy and be able to call in the energy of protection or guidance. And that was the message that I got, is, well, we can be everywhere and we can be with all of you at the same time. And so for me, that was like okay, all right, then I'm just going to keep calling on all of you. So I might be on the other side, Steve, and I might be the one's like, no, I'm taking a lot of it. I'm just asking for the whole team to be here. But I do understand, and I do think that it's something that we want to recognize, that vibrational frequency, wherever we're feeling connected, that's where we want to go. And my goal is to help everybody feel that connection, both our loved ones in spirit, our spirit guides, our angels, the archangels, the ascended masters, and just help connect so they can discern the difference between those frequencies and really feel and embody that energy and that message.
Now, you mentioned the concept of the guardian angel, or which there's some sort of like, unique relationship with a particular angel or a particular archangel that maybe we have. So maybe share a little bit your perspective on, are we primarily want to orient to like connecting with one angel and deepening that relationship because there's kind of a special matching with what our incarnation's all about? Or is it really just sort of like whoever you feel called to tap into at any particular time?
I think that it depends on where we're at any given time, quite honestly. Like, I know when I was younger, Archangel Michael was really the angel I worked the most with, because I was learning how to hold my energy and hold my frequency and not absorb energy, but instead observe energy. And that's still one of the hardest lessons in my life, still to this day. But then I recognized like I really needed help with healing. And my relationship with Archangel Raphael became one of the most critical relationships. I would say that Raphael's energy and guidance and support has saved my life literally more than once. And so I think that when we really learn to listen to our heart and our guidance, our intuition, we are called to the correct energy at any given time. So when I say correct, I don't mean right as in right or wrong. I mean correct for us at that particular time in the circumstance or the situation that we're in. And most people feel like, oh, I got to learn all of it and I got to understand all. You don't. You just start with the first energy you connect with, and it expands on its own as we grow and as we expand. And most importantly, as we learn to trust that guidance.
Hmm. Well, Scott, dive a little into that, building that communication bridge and trusting that guidance. So how do you go from not having a direct experience with angels to starting to build that relationship of bidirectional communication and sort of trusting what's coming through?
I think that when we start to open up, and most people that are listening and watching right now, they're already open or they wouldn't be here to some degree, and some really way more advanced. I think what we want to do is start recognizing that this is our natural language. This is what we are it's already innate within us. And so the learning and the practice now is how to get rid of the noise, how to get rid of the distractions. And we're in an environment now in society where there's so many distractions, and it's affecting our field, our energetic field. So we have a hard time being able to be present enough to connect to the energies. And so when we start really practicing presence, it's one of the foundational keys to expanding our intuition and learning how to trust that, is that presence. And it's challenging because life is challenging right now to be present. We have the phone and the computer and the people and the life and the bills and the things. And so it's really pulling our energy into focus, and focus becomes where the gifts lie, is when we can actually focus our attention and be present to the guidance. And when we get there, then it becomes practice. And the more we do it, the more we grow, the more we expand. And then you get the validation and the signs and the messages. And that's exciting. And that's what keeps people engaged. I believe what keeps people engaged is, oh, I just got this sign, and I just saw 444 on the license plate, and I needed that sign right now because it's validating the direction we're going. Or I just heard my angel tell me to turn right and get out of the way, and there was a car accident 3 minutes later. Things like that validate that connection that we already have, that we just haven't really been taught to trust.
So it sounds like in the early phase, it's really important to set up a kind of a dedicated practice or communication time in order to sort of build that consistency.
Yes, it's so important. And what I found with my students is that when they start to create that connection and they create the space, let's say it's 15 minutes, 20 minutes, doesn't have to be an hour. But if we take 15 minutes a day to honor the connection that we have, first and foremost, over and above any of the humanness of us, there's so much more ease. And that guidance flows, and we are in a place of trust, and we feel that presence, both to not just the angelic realm, but also to our guides and to our loved ones in spirit, that we're not in such a place of questioning, of wondering, of being in as much fear. Not that it takes it away completely, but it's certainly, when you get into trust, there's flow.
Now, I know a lot, like I've done some intuitive training, and I know a lot of times when you're trying to get intuitive messages, it can be good to kind of like, close down a little bit your lower chakras and kind of open up in certain ways so you're not getting as much mixing. Is there any sort of recipes for how you work with your own energy field to sort of optimize the communication with angels or the other side?
Yeah, I think I would agree with you. What I love to do is to start people with just getting comfortable with being in the space of presence, and some people that might be meditation, some people it might be groundedness, where we're really just opening our connection to spirit. And what I found and what the angels invited me into when I was probably about 14 was they said, you have to invite us in. Like, you have to invite us in. You have free will. We can't just come in and go, oh yeah, you're going the wrong direction. Let's move you this direction. I'm like, I would really like that. That would be helpful for me. They're like, no, no, no. This is your life. You get to create. And so invite us into this space. And so creating that space for that invitation where you can be then present to the subtleness. Like the angelic realm is very, very subtle, Stephen. It's not the 2x4, right? It's the feeling. It's that little hint. It's the softness. And when we start paying attention to that actually, the way it worked for me was when I opened up to the angels, then the guides and the loved ones in spirit all started coming in because I could pay attention to that subtlety. So all the rest of them that were more dense and louder could actually come through, and I was aware of it. I didn't know how to be aware of it before then.
That's really interesting. So I wanted to just invite you to share any other reflections on these qualities of angels and how they engage. So there's a deep respect for free will. There's a kind of a subtlety or sort of a gentle nudging without like imposing on your free will. Other qualities that you tend to notice in how they communicate or engage with us.
Yeah, such a high frequency, and I think that's part of the challenge, and one of the reasons why there's a lot of people that feel like they can connect more with their loved ones in spirit. Certainly we have the memories and things like that, so we can validate it. Where with the angelic realm, not everybody has the conscious memory. They have memory, but they don't have a conscious memory. And so when we start to tap into the frequency of the angels, it's not the same. And this is what's hard for people. It's not the same as connecting with your loved one in spirit, because your loved one in spirit, there is, I guess I would say, more of a density. There's a concrete energy there that is palpable and is so, we can relate it so much to the physical, where in the angelic realm, it doesn't show up in necessarily that physical. We can experience it through the physical, but their energy is so fast and so light, such a light frequency, that I believe that's why it calls us into the most presence. If we're gonna look at like a vibrational chart, and we've got like our loved ones in spirit are down here, and we've got our spirit guides, and then we've got the angels and the archangels, and then we've got the God of your understanding. And so they're the highest frequency there is, which requires the most presence from us. And I think that it requires most presence because it is the key to connection and to life is presence. And a lot of us miss out on presence in our day-to-day lives, not even just with the spirit world, but in our human life, right? So they're teaching us how to be present to experience the most we can in all aspects of life.
I want to ask about like recognizing different angels or archangels, and really like how do you differentiate? How do you know who's communicating with you and each of their signature communications?
The way I learned was it was like I went to school with the angels. So when I was 13 and I had that experience with my guardian angel, I just started asking questions, and I didn't really know how to ask. I didn't really know how to pray in the right way. And so I would just say, all right, so if you're around, would you come back? And I would have this presence. The first one was Archangel Michael that showed up and literally just said, I'm Archangel Michael. And what I experienced was this feeling that moved through my entire body. And I saw this blue vibration around what I would call an angelic form. And he just said, I am the angel of protection. And I'm like, do I need protection? It made me a little nervous, quite honestly. But what I learned was that he was here to give me courage and strength and help me to protect my energy, which I didn't even understand that that was a thing at that time. And so that opened the door to say, all right, well, who else is there? And what other ways can I connect with you? And how can I start to discern between Archangel Michael and Archangel Raphael? And so I did a lot of different practices over the last 40 years on developing my discernment between them. And what I will tell you is that they all have a different frequency. And it's not something that I can teach what the frequency is because everybody interprets it differently. But what I can do is help people understand, their mind understand how that frequency will show up. And when you can start to actually call it in and create opportunities to start to develop your own personal relationship with the angels, because that's the challenge, is that people want to have a relationship, but they're trying to do it like everybody else does. And each one of us has our own personal way of connecting with them. And that is the practice. And I have a whole program on how to create that and how to make that happen.
Great. Well, I know we're going to have a chance to learn some of that in your
We
upcoming
are.
course, which is great. So we'll share more. We can go further into that later. But I'm wondering, is it valuable to ask for different signs of confirmation? So I'm asking, as we like when we do mediumship work with evidential mediumship, like getting the sort of factual proving beyond reasonable doubt, it seems like it's really important to unlock the power of mediumship. Do you find that the same is really true with angels, that it's important to get some like, clear proof or signs that then convince our rational mind to relax?
I think our mind needs proof. Our mind needs to know that what is happening is real, and that and also that we can trust it. That's, I think, the big part for me was learning how to trust the guidance that I was getting and not just intellectualize it away. Oh, well, that's this, or oh, well, that's that. And so I think when we start to have the evidence, like I had an experience once. I was teaching a class. This is like, oh my gosh, 25 years ago. I was teaching a class called Angel 101. And in the class, one of the people said, well, how do I know my guardian angel's name? And I said, well, have you asked? And she said, well, it can't be that easy. Like, things are a lot easier than we make them, right? So I walked them through this whole kind of guided meditation. And out of the class, let's say half of them got a name. And I said, all right, now I want you to ask for validation. And they said, well, what's your guardian angel's name? I said, I don't know. I've never asked. And they're like, well, why wouldn't you have asked? I said, well, it never mattered to me because I feel them, I see them, I hear, I know. So it never occurred to me to ask their name. So right in the class, right then, Stephen, I asked, and I heard Sarah. So I'm like, my guardian angel's name is Sarah. And they're like, there is no way it's that easy. So I sent them home for homework, and I said, all right, you're going to ask for validation of whatever name you got. And next week we're going to talk about it. So the next morning I get up, like I'm good. I trust Sarah. I got her. I'm happy. But next morning I get up and I take my kids to school, and I get in the car, and the song on the radio is Sarah Smile by Hall & Oates. So I have a little smile on my face. Okay, guys, that's great, right? Pull out of my driveway, and there's a vehicle in front of me, and the license plate says, oh, Sarah. Okay, that's within 2 minutes. Then I take my kids to school, I go about my day, and 4 hours later, I go pick them up from school, and we go to Costco. And who helps me at Costco? Sarah. So I'm like, all right, thank you for the validation, my sweet guardian angel, Sarah. And I share that with you because it wasn't that I needed the validation. I 100% trusted. As soon as it came through, I felt it. Like I knew that's Sarah. But my clients, my students in that class, they needed the validation. And then when they came back the next week, over half of them were like, oh my God, I had this sign and this sign and this sign and this sign. So I think the humanness of us needs that.
That's a great story, and that you didn't even need it, but it was just good to validate for your
Yes.
So once you've got that validation and a relationship, it sounds like it makes it easier to connect if you've got a name and a specific frequency pattern. You kind of get to learn their rhythms over time.
Sure.
What are some of the things that you find are good to sort of like keep cultivating that deeper relationship with a specific angel or
I think it's asking for their guidance. It's asking for the support. It's asking for the sign. It's sitting. I did a lot of automatic writing with my guardian angel, and then as I learned how to connect with the other angels that were coming into my space, I would ask questions and ask for direction and ask for guidance and just ask for information. Like I felt like I was in school taking class for years in my teens, because that's literally how it was. And I kept notes of all the things that they said or that I felt or that I heard. And I would just write them down as a way of almost like this is like a manual to connect with the angels. And then years later, I wrote a book about it. Right. So I think that when we can invite them in and have them be a part of your day-to-day life, right? Like I work a lot with Archangel Michael in helping maintain our energy, because one of the things that we do is we get so much energy from so many people in so many different directions, and it gets us really distracted and weighed down, and we absorb a lot of other people's energies. And when we do that, it clutters up the energy so that we don't have a clear connection. And so my part of my work for the last 30 years has been to every single morning, without exception, I call on Archangel Michael and I ask Michael to be with me and to help me to manage and maintain my energy so that I don't absorb the energy of others, not because they're wrong or bad or I need protection from them, but because I need to keep my energy clear. And I need to have the clearest, purest channel that I can to my source. And it's not my responsibility to carry everyone else's energy. And that's been one of the greatest challenges that I've had in my life. And one of the things that I feel like I'm so meant to teach. And one of the experiences I actually want to do today is helping people learn how to take their power back and their energy back from people that they've given it to, consciously or unconsciously, so that we can be more present to hear and to see and to feel the messages from the angels and from our loved ones in spirit and from our guides.
I think is a great moment to go dive into that practice you're describing and give us an experience that also gives us a tangible takeaway today.
Sure. Yeah, I love it. Yeah, I'd love to do that. Okay, so I got a little bit of setup, and so what I'm going to ask all of you to do, and I'm going to invite you into really tuning into somebody in your life, that a physical somebody that you recognize that you've given a lot of your energy to. We usually have people in our lives, most of us do. And if you don't have somebody, then you're blessed. But most of us have somebody in our life that we have a tendency to give a lot of our energy to. It's the person that when the phone rings and you look at the phone and you're like, oh, can't do that right now. Like I can't talk to that person. And you can just feel that energy. And what I found is that when we have our energy invested so deeply in somebody else, we're losing our own energy consistently. So I want to start by having you just close your eyes and tune in to the person that comes to your mind and your heart, that you can love them dearly, but you feel like, gosh, I'm always giving my energy to this person. And maybe you feel like they're taking your energy, but I want to suggest you're giving it. So I want you to imagine that person in front of you. And I want you to just visualize that person standing in front of you and having the heart space, your heart space, open. So this is from a perspective of absolute love. And I want you to look at that being in front of you. And I want you to assign them a color. What color does their energy represent for you? And just whatever color comes to you, the first color that comes to you is the color I want you to go with. So I'm going to, in this example, I'm going to use my dad as the person I'm going to put in front of me. And I'm going to use the color red. So you're going to use whatever color you're going to assign that person that's in front of you. And then I want you to just tune into your own energy for a moment. And I want you to assign yourself a color. So I'm going to use yellow for myself. And then you go ahead and use whatever color you feel guided to. Now, as you're sitting in this space right now and you're tuning into this person that's in front of you, the person that you recognize, maybe you've given a lot of energy, you think about all the time, maybe you've given a lot of your power to them. And if you're losing your energy to them on a day-to-day basis, then you don't have the same energy to open up and connect. You don't have the same presence that you would like to be able to have a deeper relationship with the spirit world. And so what we're going to do is we're going to actually take that energy back. We're going to take our energy back that you have consciously or unconsciously given to other people, and particularly this person in front of you. So as you're tuning in to our friend in front of you, whoever that is for you, I want you to observe how much of your color is inside of them. So just notice how much of your energy is living inside of them. You're just observing. And then I want you to take a moment and just acknowledge that. And notice where it is. Maybe it's in particular areas of the body. Maybe it's spread out all over. Maybe there's just a little bit. And maybe a lot of your energy is sitting there. Just observe it. And then what I'd like you to do is now I'd like you to turn your focus on your own energy. And I want you to notice how much of their energy is living inside of you. How much energy are you carrying of theirs? Of maybe worrying about what they think, maybe worrying about what they need to do or what they're not doing, or maybe you have some stories around past experiences, maybe you have some realities around past experiences, and you're carrying so much of their energy. So we're just taking a moment for recognition. And now what I'd like you to do is I'd like you to imagine that you have like a cell phone cord, and you've got a plug on each end. And I want you to imagine that in the center of your body, in the center of their body as they're standing in front of you, that they have a plug, and you're literally going to plug into them. You consciously are plugging that energy into them and into yourself. So that cord now is connecting the two of you. Now, you may have a little hesitation around this, but what I can guarantee you is you're already plugged in. So this is a visualization of that cord plugging the two of you together. And what I want you to do is with your breath, with your vision, and with your intention, we're actually going to take that energy back. So we're going to call on our angels and our guides and our loved ones right now to surround us and invite in the energy for the highest good, so that we can take our energy and power back from the person in front of us. Not from a place of anger, not from a place of pain, but from a place of empowerment and from a place of healing. So I want you to take a nice deep breath in, and as you take that deep breath in, I want you to imagine that you are visually and energetically pulling that energy, your color that's being held in that person across from you, and you're pulling it in through that cord, and it's entering back into your body, filtered with absolute, complete love. Just pull your energy back in. So I'm going to give you a moment with some nice deep breaths. With each breath you take in, you pull that energy back in. With each breath out, you pause. Next deep breath in, any of your color that's living over there and that person, pulling that energy back into yourself with gratitude, with appreciation for all you've learned, recognition that it no longer serves you to give your power away. And pause. Let's do it one more time, and I just want you to nice deep breath in, pull that energy in, back into yourself. yourself. And pause. Now I just want you to scan that being in front of you. See if you see any other little pockets of your energy that might be living over there in them. And if there is, let's do this one more time. Pull that energy back. Now I'd like you to go within yourself and I want you to look at your energy. How much of their energy is still living in you, and notice where it is in your body. Maybe it's in an area that's associated with pain or struggle in your life. So now the same thing, we're going to give this energy back to them with love, with intention. So taking in a nice deep breath. And as you release that energy, you let it move back through that cord and back to them with love, with gratitude. Acknowledging everything that we've needed to learn and grow and expand and heal. And with one more deep breath in, any energy that might still be sitting there, and we release it and give it back with love, gratitude, and appreciation. Now, as we are connected to this person in our life that has taught us and that we've taught, we've been given a beautiful gift. And in this moment now, I want you to, from an empowered place, I want you to imagine now unplugging that cord, that connection from them, and unplugging it from you. You're literally disconnecting that energy that has been unhealthy to hold on to, unhealthy to give or to receive. And you're acknowledging your ability to take your energy, your power back, and also theirs. So now for a moment, I want you to imagine this beautiful golden white light shining down from the heavens. Your angels are completely surrounding you. Your loved ones are cheering you on, feeling that light energy. And I want you to see yourself being filled with this beautiful golden white light. And it goes into all the different areas in your body that you might have been seeing the other energy. And it's transmuting any pain, any negativity, any fear, any judgment, any criticism. It's transmuting any of that energy and just filling you up with love and with light. And as you feel that connection of love and light and your angels and your guides and your loved ones around you, knowing that they are cheering you on, creating a clearer channel so that you no longer absorb the energy of others, but instead observe it. And with one nice deep breath, we are going to invite the energy of Archangel Michael. We ask Michael to surround you to help you to maintain your energy. Imagine yourself stepping into a beautiful, brilliant, vibrating blue bubble. And as you do this, it's above you and below you, and it completely surrounds your entire physical body. This presence of Archangel Michael helps you to manage and maintain your own frequency. You are no longer responsible for other people's energy. You are responsible for your frequency, and with Michael's help, he allows you to maintain that frequency, supports you in holding that frequency so that you can receive clear and perfect guidance from your angels, your guides, and your loved ones in spirit. Taking one nice deep breath in, letting that energy out,
That was super helpful and very aligned with something I've been working on myself. So thank you for that.
You're welcome.
Is it sort of this one of the areas that angels can be particularly helpful, sort of the clearing of your energy field and sort of decoupling mingle of, you know, patterns with other people?
Absolutely. You know, that this has been, Stephen, for me. I use my dad as an example to give people, you know, it can be anybody that's been in your life or that's in your life. And what the angels have really helped and taught me, and even to help me to connect with my loved ones in the spirit world, is that I have to have the clearest energy possible in order to receive the guidance, in order to trust myself, in order to feel that connection and follow the guidance as it comes. And for so many years in my life, and I know this is true for a lot of people, and maybe it's true for you too, Stephen, is my energy got so entangled with everybody else's. And I really felt like it was my responsibility to make everybody happy. It was my responsibility to do the right thing for everybody. And if they weren't doing it, then I need to fix it for them. Like, you know, we carry that sense of responsibility. And then I didn't realize how much it was literally eating away at my energy field. And so when the angels started teaching me that, Sunny, your job is to ground and center yourself and take care of your energy. And what happened for me was when I was young, I literally had so many experiences with Archangel Michael, but the training that I had then, he came to me, he said, I am the angel of protection. And protection kind of scared me a little bit. I'm like, ooh, what do I need protection from? And so probably about 20 years ago or so, I was in deep connection. So my life is like, I talk to the angels like I'm talking to you right now, Stephen. It's like not like this sacred thing where I go into meditation and anything like that. It's like, all right, guys, come on. Would you help me out here? Like, this is a conversation always in my world. And so I was like, listen, this energy of protection, it doesn't feel good to me. I don't want to be scared. I don't want to feel like I need protection. And it was so interesting because I always use this vision. I always was like, I need to protect myself. I need to keep everybody's energy out. And what Archangel Michael came into my space and said, oh, honey, you don't need to keep everybody out. You just need to keep you in. So instead of this, and I'm going to try and manage and control everybody in the world's energy, all I needed to do was hold my own.
Hmm.
I could hold my own energy, manage my own energy, manage my own vibration, be responsible for the energy that I allowed other people to take and that I took from others. If that was my job, I'm like, oh, that I can do. That empowered me. And that gave me the ability then to hold my frequency. It doesn't mean I do it perfect every day, for sure not. I'm still human. But it gave me the ability to recognize how much I was projecting fear into my life constantly.
Hmm.
And it was life-changing experience.
Yeah, that has profound repercussions, just as that simple shift of orientation. It also seems like it connects in with what you're saying that you know the angels are particularly focused on empowering you in your free will, which includes taking responsibility for all your energy. So they're modeling like not being overly responsible for or getting involved in somebody else's business.
That for sure they are. And I think, and that's such a great point. I'm glad you said that because I think that when we think about angels, we're like, oh, she's such an angel. She does everything for everybody. They're like, no, 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 no. That's
No, that's
not like
codependent
it.
humans. Sorry.
Exactly. And so it's really like the more that we can take responsibility for our lives and take responsibility for our energy and take responsibility for the choices and the decisions we make, then what a higher vibrating world we're going to live in than when we blame and we shame and we guilt and we obligate all of those energies. So we're coming from a much pure, higher frequency, which is that energy of unconditional love.
Hmm. Yeah. And it's unconditional love is predicated on that sense of freedom and responsibility that really work hand in hand. So really beautiful. Yeah, and I think that it's very interesting because humans we have gotten so mixed up in each other's business and wound patterns and traumas and bonds, and it's like it's just untethering from all that is really
Yes.
vital for us to be able to operate at these higher frequencies.
Yeah, it is. It is. And it's such a, for me, I'll tell you one of the things that happened when I started to when I started to discern the difference and discern the difference in my body of what it felt like when I was trying to keep everything out. Like I'd go to the mall and they'd be like, okay, Sunny, bubble up, get your shields up, get ready. You're going to go be around all these people. And then I started thinking, well, that's not nice. Like I'm out there thinking that all these people are bad people and I'm going to take on their bad energy. That's kind of judgy, Sunny. And so when I started instead going, all right, Sunny, bubble up and hold your own energy, and you hold your frequency. You don't worry about what everybody else is doing. The freedom in that, number one. And the second thing that happened is when I no longer was in the energy of needing to protect myself, and this was really powerful, Stephen, was that I no longer needed protection. And what happened is that I carried extra weight on my body for all of my teen years and a lot of my early 20s. When I started getting consistent with holding and maintaining my own energy, I no longer needed the physical protection in my body any longer either.
Your body was literally creating a physical barrier for people to protect.
Yeah. Exactly. Without changing anything else.
That's quite fascinating. Well, Sunny, you're fascinating to learn from, and it's clear you have incredible experience. I mean, dating back to 13 years old, and that you've worked with this area so much in your life. So I know people are going to be excited to learn more from you and really put these principles and practices in motion in their own life. So let's talk about your upcoming course, since I know it's an amazing opportunity to distill out so many of the lessons you've learned in your work at this frontier. So Sunny's agreed to teach this brand new program for Shift. It's called Angels and the Afterlife. Connect with angels, spirit guides, and loved ones across the veil for comfort, healing, and guidance. And it's not just about the communication, clearly, and it's really about your own spiritual evolution and integrity of your energy field, your ability to hold higher frequency. There's a lot of principles of higher development that Sunny is going to be teaching you. You can find the URL for the course at angelsandafterlife.com, angelsandafterlife.com. It's a 7-week program. And Sunny, I'd love for you to share in your own words some of your intentions for what people will walk away with.
I'm so excited about this class for so many reasons. I think one of them is, as you just probably experienced through that exercise, is that when we start to really get clear in our energy and get ourselves grounded, we receive that clear guidance that everybody wants. We go to the pendulum and we use our bodies as a pendulum. We ask people, we go to psychics, we do all these things. And what I want to suggest is, hey, if we can get your energy clear, we can get you to a place where you're feeling connected and you begin to trust yourself, then all you got to do is go within. And so the tools that I'm going to offer you for that clear guidance, for that connection, so that it becomes a consistent daily relationship. That's what's happened in my life. And I think that's what I want to offer, is this consistent, steady relationship that you can count on and that is always with you. Spirit never leaves us. We leave spirit. That's what happens. So a lot of times they're like, well, they're not there. They're not giving me the signs. They're not giving me the nice messages. It's that you're not getting them, and you're not getting them because you're not present, or you're distracted, or your energy is heavy, dense. And that can be for a lot of reasons. Maybe you're depressed, maybe you are going through grief, things like that. But we can shift that energy, and we can raise that energy to have that consistent, embodied spiritual experience while we're here in human form. And it's so exciting to me because it's been life-changing. I mean, it called me into my purpose of doing the work that I do. And if I can introduce you to tools and techniques to manage and maintain your energy, and then develop your intuition so that you are having signs and messages on a day-to-day basis. I'm talking every day, not once in a while, not when you sit down to get quiet, but the 23 and a half hours of the day that you're not meditating. That's when it's cool. And that's what I want to do, and help you get to know your spirit team and all the different vibrations that are living, literally living vibrationally around you, that you just have to access.
Fantastic. So let's go through the modules. So module 1 is called Enter the Angelic Realm to Ground Your Energy and Receive Clear, Reliable Guidance.
Yes. So this area, we're going to specifically talk about how to connect with the angels. I'm going to teach about the 7 archangels in general. There's lots of archangels, but there's 7 main archangels. And help people understand which frequency and which vibration they can connect with for different human experiences that we want help and support with. So we're going to open the door to the angelic realm in that first module.
Module 2 is called Strengthen Your Presence to Receive Steady Daily Guidance from Spirit.
So presence, as we've talked about a little bit right here, is such an important aspect of opening this door to really have a consistent connection with the spirit world. So I'm going to give you some daily tips that we can use that are easy. It doesn't have to be an hour of meditation and then 2 hours of this. And although that's great and it's lovely when you can do that, but I'm going to give you tips for real life experiences to start having steady connection instead of random, because I want you to be able to receive messages consistently, not just once in a while. I think that's what people struggle with the most.
Module 3, refine your clair senses to receive precise embodied spiritual guidance.
Yeah, so we know the clairs, right? Seeing, hearing, feeling, knowing, taste, and smell. And so we're going to really fine tune that. What is your strongest attribute? What is the attribute that maybe you don't even really like as much? Because that's probably the one that's going to open the door. And there's always one that opens the door to all of the other clairs. So we're going to really fine tune your awareness of what that clair is.
Module 4, meet your spirit team to strengthen discernment and deepen spiritual partnership.
Yeah, so this is where we're going to tune into your guardian angel. So you're going to have a name for your guardian angel, your master guide that has been with you since you were born, along with your guardian angel, and then your loved ones in spirit that are there to help support you. So the angelic realm, your spirit guides, and your loved ones, and really create an awareness of be able to differentiate the energetic frequencies of each one of those members of your team, your family.
Module 5, open a pathway across the veil to experience clear, confident connection with departed loved ones. And this is going to include guest musician Chris Volker.
This is my favorite because it's live music. So we're going to have some live music, and we're actually going to take you on a journey to experience your loved one, like in this physical body, have you feel or see or hear or sense and receive messages from your loved one in that experience, so that when you walk away from that class 90 minutes later, you've had an experience.
Module 6, clear dense energy with angelic healing to strengthen your intuitive channel.
So this one I'm going to introduce you to Archangel Raphael and Michael working together with Azrael's energy to help you to open up that intuitive channel by really healing some of the things that are sitting deep within you. A lot of it's inner child energy, but the angels can come in and transmute that energy with your permission. And so we're going to dive into how to clear the energy so that that frequency, that pathway, that channel is stronger.
And finally, module 7, embody your intuitive wisdom to walk as a deeply connected, confident being.
So once you've gone through these six weeks, the 7th week is really like, all right, let's dive in. I want to do some practice sessions. We're going to really help you to get confidence in your intuitive abilities, because once you have learned the tools, my expectation and my intention by module 7 is that you feel the connection, you got the presence, you can discern the difference in the energy, and now it's all right, let's own it. Let's own it.
Well, what a great program this is. And clearly you have the experience and so many great practices to really cultivate these skills, to really have discernment, open our intuitive wisdom, and work with angelic allies as well as departed loved ones in ways that really enhances our lives. So again, the whole program is laid out in detail at angelsandafterlife.com, angelsandafterlife.com. In addition to the 7 90-minute live sessions with Sunny, you'll have the time to ask your questions live. You'll also get recordings of every session, both video and audio, as well as word-for-word transcripts. Mm-hmm. So helpful to go back and study and highlight with those. There's weekly practices that she will give you for home learning. There's a community group to support you and deepen your experience, as well as small group time to connect with other participants. There's also some exciting bonuses that Sunny's agreed to include as well. There's a 33-day PDF guidebook and meditation and coloring sheet for Archangel Michael called Maintain Your Energy. You want to share a little bit more about that guidebook?
Yes, I love this book because it really, you'd asked me this earlier, how can we start to kind of develop those deeper relationships with the angels? And the steps that are in this 33-day guidebook are actually steps I took to create a deeper, stronger connection with Michael. And so I think it's a great tool to use. And there's, journaling pages to be able to have an experience and then journal about it. So I think it's going to be really powerful for people because it's a foundation of what we need to do to open ourselves up to that greater connection.
That's a great bonus just by itself. And then there's a second bonus that's an audio meditation from Sunny called Meet Your Angel, a guided connection. You want to share more about that one?
So that's when I was talking about the, ask your guardian angel, what's their name and what name do you want to call them? This is the expanded version of what's your name. It's how to go in, meet your angel, feel them, see them, experience them. And at the end of it, create that connection so that you know their presence, feel their presence, sense their presence, and likely have a name that you can relate to them with.
Love it. So that's the second bonus. And then there's a third bonus that's available just if you sign up by midnight tonight Pacific time. We like to encourage you to really take the time to tune in now while you have the most information. You're connecting with Sunny directly. And if you choose to move forward today, you're going to get an extra live group integration session. It's a full Zoom class with Sunny on February 11th at 11 a.m. You want to share a little bit more about that bonus live group integration session?
Yeah, I was really excited to be able to offer this because I love being able to really get into it with everyone, and we get to do it in the middle of the program. So, I think it's like 3 or 4 weeks in, 2 or 3 weeks in. So we're going to dive into some experientials. I think that's where we get the most value. It's not just from learning and listening to what I have to say, but it's actually experiencing it. So in this integration session, I'm going to bring you experiences to be able to practice, to be able to get feedback, and to be able to go deeper into your own practices, but expand them in ways that I believe will help you for the rest of the class also, so that you're really having hands-on experience that you can use forever after that.
Well, that's great. What a great extra bonus and reason to sign up today. So
Yes.
Really encourage people to take the time to go through the whole page at angels and afterlife.com and really tune in with your own inner knowing. You'll get a little nudge or a little tap on the shoulder, intuition, and your angels will actually sort of communicate with you that this is important for you as well. So if you choose to move forward today, you're also going to get that bonus of the live group integration session. We've kept the overall investment for the program very accessible. It's just 3 payments of $128, or you can save 10% when you pay in full with one payment of $349. The course is going to start January 26th and run Mondays at 11 a.m. Pacific, 2 Eastern. But even if you can't make those live sessions, you can also get the full value with the recordings and the transcripts and the community as well. So there's some great testimonials on the page about Sunny, about how compassionate and caring she is as a light worker, and how skilled she is at opening up to higher dimensions. And really, she's helped thousands and thousands of people around the world to overcome any blocks they might have, be able to communicate, connect with the deceased loved ones, as well as the angels that we've talked a lot about today. So you're in very skilled hands, and if you choose to move forward, you're going to get that extra bonus of the live group integration session today. And I'm sure your life will be blessed if you choose to move forward.
Yes.
So Sunny, we're nearing the end of our time. Anything that's still on your heart you want to share with folks who are considering doing the course with you?
One of the things that just popped in, Stephen, as you're reading that was, I just taught a class today that is kind of still sitting on my heart, because I had people in the class that were really struggling with some of the changes that are happening in the world. And specifically what they were talking about was AI and how to, oh my gosh, AI is going to take over. And what are we going to do? We're going to lose the human connection and all these things. And I'm like, listen, the thing that you need to know is that, yeah, AI is here and it's not going anywhere. And what you want to do, and the thing that's completely in your power, is learn to tune into your intuition, because there's going to be things in front of you that you're not going to know if it's real or not, but your intuition will tell you. And your connection to source, spirit, angels, guides, deceased loved ones, that is a connection that you can always trust, you can always believe, and it will always be there regardless of what's happening in these physical technology changes. And so just as you asked it, I'm like, this is why these kinds of things are so important, and why the Shift Network and so many of the classes that you offer are helpful, because you have to learn to trust yourself and trust that inner connection. And the more skills you get, you don't want to just trust yourself if you don't have any skills, but when you have more skills, then you have that confidence to trust yourself. And I believe we're moving in a direction, and that this is part of the reason that's happening, is so we actually come back to center, come back to our heart, come back to our spirit, and come back to our connection to humanity.
Amen to that. Everything is a catalyst for our awakening and transformation. And if we hold this in the right way, then we will evolve to the next level. And
Yes.
so, what a beautiful offering to empower people with tools and practices to do so. So again, Sunny's going to be teaching Angels in the Afterlife, and the URL is angelsandafterlife.com. And if you choose to move forward today, you'll get that extra live group integration session, and I'm sure you will be blessed. So thank you, Sunny, for your wisdom and all your dedication over the years. It's been a really great hour with you. I really learned a lot. And yeah, so thank you for all of you who came, and look forward to seeing many of you in Sunny's course. So
Yes. Thank you.
thank you so much. Many blessings.